Flyweight bout here. Erin Blanchfield coming in at -140 against Taila Santos, who sits at +110. Over under 2.5 rounds, -290 for the over, +230 for the under. 24 years of age for Erin Blanchfield, 11-1 record for her, 5-0 in her last 5. She's been on quite the tear. Taila Santos hasn't fought since she fought the champion Valentina Shevchenko. That was over a year ago. She was scheduled to fight Erin Blanchfield earlier in February. She had to pull out due to visa issues, and Erin Blanchfield then took on Jessica Andrade and got the second round submission, I should say. So she's coming in here. This is the matchup that they wanted originally, and Blanchfield's coming in as the slight favorite after getting the win. I don't want to say long, a little over a year layoff for Taila Santos, but she's coming in here against Erin Blanchfield. It's a good matchup. I think it's a really good matchup because both ladies have really good ground games, and I don't know how much the fight will play out on the feet, but a lot of times when you get two girls with good ground games, it turns into some kind of boxing or kickboxing match. If that's the case, then it gets even closer. Like Blanchfield looked good against Jessica Andrade. Taila Santos has some solid striking, decent striking. It's tough to judge on like the championship level because of that headbutt she had against Valentina that kind of compromised her pretty heavily to really be able to judge how good it is at that level. Because even before that title fight, like the girl she was fighting wasn't on this level. Like she beat Joanne Wood and then Roxanne Modafferi and Jillian Robertson. Like the wins to get her to the title shot, they just doesn't really compare to like what Erin Blanchfield's been going up against, I would say.
Right.
So it's tough to judge that, but what do you got in this one?
Yeah, it's like hard to pick this fight because you look at both fighters and there's a lot to like on both sides. I mean, for Taila Santos, the fight against Valentina, a lot of people thought she won. She was outstruck by 20 strikes or so. Each had 3 takedowns. Taila Santos had 3 submission attempts compared to Valentina's 1. To be able to go 5 rounds to a decision and lose by split to Valentina is super impressive. Like super, super impressive. But she's big for the division, man. I mean, you could tell she's jacked to all in. She's strong. Her striking has gotten, a lot better over the years. Her wrestling's obviously there. She just doesn't throw a ton of volume on the feet. I think that's where Erin Blanchfield would struggle against girls. Higher level girls is like a really good striker who has good takedown defense and wrestling as well. So I wish Taila had more volume, I guess, because you even look against like Jillian Robertson. She landed 1 takedown and had 27 total strikes to Jillian's 9 strikes and a 3-round decision. Against Joanne Wood, she only landed 30 significant strikes in that fight. So she's not exactly racking it up against some girls. And, some of her strikes come on the ground when she's on top and have girls in mount or, like with Molly McCann had her and just beat the brakes off her when she was on the ground. So yeah, that makes it tough to pick because Blanchfield's not really known for being a striker, but it's obviously gotten better because in her last fight against Andrade, she was, cracking Andrade on the feet when I think people thought that that's where Jessica was going to have the advantage in that fight. So you see a lot of improvements in that. And on the ground, Blanchfield is just an absolute monster. I mean, submits Andrade, submits Molly McCann, submits JJ Aldrich 3 in a row. And before that went to decision with Miranda Maverick and Sarah Alpar. But the Alpar fight, she had 3 takedowns and landed 120 strikes compared to Alpar's 41. So she just dominates girls. Like, I love the domination factor. And the last thing on Santos, outside of the submission win over Joanne Wood, she's never finished anybody in the UFC. She's got 6, 7 fights in the UFC, and she has 1 finish. So even though she does dominate girls and she looks really good, she's not going out there for the kill in a lot of these fights. So you look at Erin Blanchfield, who is, when she gets you on the ground, she's going to work until she finds that finish. It makes me want to lean Blanchfield here. Blanchfield is 24 years old. Taila Santos, just over 30. Maybe a little bit more experience and maturity there. But if Erin Blanchfield keeps progressing like she has been between fights, I think she's going to be a lot to handle for Santos here. And it's so hard to pick. I'm going to go Blanchfield just because I like the upside. I think she's, like I said, man, she's improving so much every time she goes out there. So I expect her to do the same here, and should be a close fight, but I think she can get the win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to pick against Erin Blanchfield in the spot just based off of the activity that she's had and how dominant she's looked in certain spots. Like if you're, I don't want to say, I mean, you're subbing Jessica Andrade, doesn't age the best since she did it.
Yeah.
Like she was coming off a great performance before that. And then since she got submitted by Erin Blanchfield, she just hasn't looked as good. But I mean, made slight work of Molly McCann, still doesn't age the best there. But made some, I don't want to say slight work against JJ Aldrich, but got her out there in the second round.
Yeah.
And then the win against Miranda Maverick looks pretty decent. So she's looked good. She's done everything she needed to do to get to this point. For Taila Santos, what she did against Valentina kind of like opened the door to be like, all right, this girl is beatable because she was able to take her down, able to threaten her with submissions in rounds 1 through 3. And one of the judges gave her all 3 of the first rounds. So there's that. I mean, she beat her on the judge's scorecard. There's that. And then she goes out there and she's got the headbutt on the eye and it doesn't look good after that. But then, you take that into consideration. That is the cream of the crop in Valentina Shevchenko. What is she going to be able to do to Erin Blanchfield? We will see. But I think for the pick, I have to go with Erin Blanchfield. It's a very close matchup, though. It really comes down to how strong is Taila Santos on the ground, because Erin Blanchfield looks like she can get from position to position very easily on these girls. Will she be able to do that against Taila Santos? We will see. But for the pick, I'm going to go with Erin Blanchfield because I do think if it's on the feet, she'll be able to look a little bit better with the volume as well. Just pick up the overall damage as the fight progresses. So I'll take her.